Hi guys, how are you from the Arrtx guys? Thanks very much for joining me today. As you can see here, I've got a review of the new set of color pencils from Artex. Now, these are a budget range pencil, so you've got to remember that they're going to be aiming these pencils at a certain demographic. But right from the beginning, let me just say, I was not expecting these pencils to be the way I found them, and I've done extensive testing with them, which I'll go over all those different tests with you, different papers and what have you. But I really wasn't expecting these pencils to be as good as what they are. So I know I've kind of like given you a bit of a spoiler there, but I really enjoyed them. So let's get into the review and we'll talk about why. So like I say, this is a 72 set. It's the only set that they do. They don't do smaller sets or anything like that. So nice and simple there. Now, as you can see here, it's a box. It's not a tin, which I suppose is a more traditional package for a 72 set in any case. But this is a box, and I can see. But first of all, if we look at the front here, it says saturated colors, soft core, artist quality. Now, it says artist quality. I know some people are going to nitpick at that, but what I would like to say is artist quality and artist grade are two different things in my opinion. Artist grade means that the pencil is being graded to a high artist quality. So, in other words, Lightfastness ratings, that type of thing. That's what an artist grade product is. An artist quality product is still a high quality product that is still going to allow the artist to create gorgeous artwork. Not necessarily sell it because of the Lightfast ratings, but it's still going to be a product that you're going to be able to create beautiful artwork with. And in that respect, these pencils definitely fit into that bracket. I know, like I say, artist quality, artist grade, you've got to understand that those two things mean very different things. On the back of the set here, we've got a little bit of a swatch, but again, I know these color pencil companies put these swatches on the tins and the boxes and what have you, but what you've got to understand is that it's just a quick visual representation of these colors. You must do the swatch yourself when you get them, so that you can see and understand how the colors are going to look like on the paper that you want to use once you get them home. Now, when we slide the top off here, as you can see here with the images, so the pencils are kind of like stood upright and they're inset into this foam base. Now, the only thing I can see what Artex have done here, and it's a really good idea. The only thing is, if you look at the images I have showing up on the screen here, the holes are not individual to the pencils. So it's kind of like when the pencils are inset into 4 different rows. But if you lift a couple of pencils out, those pencils all start falling in on each other for the reasons I'm showing you here on the images. I think if Artex created this foam base for the pencils, but like I say, the holes were individual for the pencils to go into. I know that would probably mean that the packaging would be slightly bigger. And this was probably a factor into the reason why they did it this way. But this way, the pencils fall in on themselves. They're not really steady or anything like that. Once you start picking out a few colours, they start falling all over the place. Now, this is really nitpicking, okay? But it is nevertheless something that I came across when I was doing the review and when I was using the pencils. So I just had to mention it. I know there's other reviewers out there that have reviewed these pencils, but I haven't seen any of those reviews yet. As always, if I have not reviewed the product myself, I never watch anybody else's reviews on them, because I don't want anybody else's opinions or thoughts getting, like, even subconsciously creeping into my reviews. I need my reviews to be 100% me, and so I'm not too sure what other people are saying about these pencils yet, but this is one of the small things that I have found about the pencils. As you know, whenever I'm measuring these pencils, I use this little gadget here, and you can see here that I've got a 3.9mm core and an 8mm barrel. Now, if you go across to their website, Arrtx have got the core at 3.8 and I think the barrel 7.8 mil. So it's only like a point something out, give or take. But these are just the measurements that this little tool I use has given me. 3.8 mil for the, or sorry, 3.9 mil for the core and 8 mil for the barrel. So it's quite a thick pencil. It's really, really nice, sturdy pencil. Really feels nice in hand. It's a round barrel. As you can see as well here, each pencil is lacquered the color of the core, so pigment identification is really easy. Obviously, they've tried to do a little decorative touch here on the barrel with these little stars and dots and things like that there, which is really nice. Along one side of the barrel, we have the company name, Artex. Then there's a little star here. And then after that, it just says Colored Pencil. On the opposite side of that, this is where we have this little star and dot decoration. There's a barcode there, and then the pigment name is on the pencil. So that's a really nice touch as well, because a lot of budget range pencils fail to have either a number or a pigment name on the barrel, which can become a little bit of a pain in the backside. But Arrtx have put the pigment number on here, sorry, pigment name on here. And then there's a number on the top here, and something as well to do with the wood. But like I say, the pencil itself feels really, really nice in the hand, and well balanced and well weighted. So if we take a look at the swatch here, this is the full range of 72 colors. Now, what I will say here about this palette is, if you look at the top row, there's a lot of yellows, and a lot of these yellows are very, very similar. And I think that they could have got away with maybe taking out 3 or 4 of those yellows and adding a couple of different colors. And let me explain what I think that they could have done with these yellows. And I only say that because, like I say, these yellows are very, very similar. There's not very much difference in the tonal values of them. And even at that, if they change maybe the tonal values of some of these yellows, it would have been okay, but they're just too similar for my liking. But I think what they could have done is, if you look at the reds here, there's a nice selection of reds. The darkest red that they have is this Tuscan red. But I think with the blues, they could have got away with a lighter blue. The lightest blue that they have really is this light cerulean blue, and then they have a cloud blue as well, but that's more like a grey blue. I think they could have got away with putting in maybe like a sky blue, something much, much paler than this light cerulean blue, and maybe perhaps a darker red. I know the Tuscan red is quite dark, but maybe something a little bit darker. Now, if you look at the greens as well, really nice selection of greens. This lime peel green is gorgeous. This ginger root is absolutely gorgeous as well. Apple green. Down at the bottom here as well, got an olive green, and then there's turquoise grey, which I know is a mixture of green and grey, but the greens are nice. I would have liked to have seen a really dark green. I know they have a dark green here, but I'm talking about like a really dark green. The blues and purples, really nice. Again, you know, they've got a light peach here and a blush pink. The indigo blue that they've used is nice as well. It's nice and dark. The greys are gorgeous. So what they've done here is they've done the greys in a percentage, which if you've used like your the Caran d'Ache luminance pencils, you'll know that the greys and stuff like that are done on a percentage, as are the Faber-Castell polychromos. They're not really done on a percentage, but they're done on a number base. But 70% warm and cool grey, 50% warm and cool grey, and then 20% warm and cool grey. But then they've got some really, really nice neutral colours here as well. The sepia, dark umber, light umber, terracotta, sienna, and like I say, that turquoise grey. So they've got some really gorgeous colours in here. They've got 2 metallic colours as well, gold and silver. But like I say, the yellows just, especially because they're all sat there in that top row, I think they just overpower the palette, and I think that they could have got away with taking a couple of those out and implementing some different colours in there But other than that, not a bad palette, not a bad palette at all. Especially whenever you're looking at your greys here. Really, really nice. So next is this little test thing here that I always do. Now, you can see here there's a layer test. Each row here has a layer on it all the way up to 5. And the reason why I do that for anybody that's new is because if you are going to use odorless mineral spirits, this is the best. It's always suggested that you should have at least 5 layers before you use odorless mineral spirits. So that's why I always do the 5 layers. And then right at the very end here, I've got a heavy application of the colored pencil. Now, sometimes when I do this, especially with kind of softer colored pencils, when I put this heavy application down, because I'm pressing hard, you get kind of like a sheen on top, almost like a bloom. A lot of people say like a bloom. It looks like when the light's shining on it, it almost looks wet. But you don't get that with these Arrtx pencils. I pressed really hard when I was doing this heavy application, and there was no tackiness, no bloom, no nothing. In fact, I could have gone on top of those and layered again. And I know that sometimes has as much to do with the paper as it does with the pencil, but for some reason these pencils just layer like nobody's business. I could have added many more layers with these past this 5th layer. If we go over to the blending test, you can see here as well that on all 3 tests I was able to create a clear 3rd color. So with the blue and the yellow here, got a really nice green. The yellow and the red got a really nice orange. And this one here is probably, perhaps for me in any case, the hardest color to get, and that's blue and red to get this nice purple color. But as you can see here, the Arrtx pencils have done that really nice. Now next up, I'm going to show you this sphere using odorless mineral spirits. Okay, so as you can see here, the sphere is just done with a series of blues, starting from the darkest going up into the lightest to give us this effect. And you can see the white of the paper coming through there a little bit. And in a second, I'm going to come in with some odorless mineral spirits. Now, I personally don't use odorless mineral spirits. I normally say this at this point of the review, but I know a lot of artists do. And all this does is it just shows you, the artist who might want to use odorless mineral spirits, how the core of the pencil will break down under the odorless mineral spirits. Now, for those of you that are new to color pencil and don't really understand this, basically what you're going to see here is me applying what they call odorless mineral spirits, just using an ordinary watercolor brush. And you can see what it does is it breaks down the pigment of it breaks down the core of the pencil that's on the layers that have been used on the paper here. Breaks them down into like this painterly effect. And where the odorless mineral spirits becomes really useful is that breaking the core of the pencil down like this, it helps, as you can see here, to fill in the tooth of the paper. So that white, those little white specks that you can see, it breaks the core down into almost like a paint and fills all of that in. But here's where the really good part is. You can do that with burnishing using colored pencil, like a burnished, like a white or something like that. But you've got to press hard on the pigment and push it down. And when you do that, it damages the tooth of the paper, and it makes adding layers a little bit difficult. Using this method, the tooth of the paper isn't damaged, and once this is dry, it allows you to then come back in with more layers and apply the layers and make the overall appearance much richer, much darker, and a lot of depth to it. This is why when I do the layering test, I always use 5 layers as a guide, because it's generally considered that you need to have about 5 layers of pencil on your project before you start applying odorless mineral spirits in order to get the right effect, the effects that you should be getting from odorless mineral spirits. If you were just to apply one light layer and then use odorless mineral spirits, you wouldn't really get much of a difference in appearance. So that's the test. I'll have images over on the Art Gear Guide where you can see this before and after. So this was the artwork that I did with the Arrtx pencils, and to be quite honest with you, I was really happy with it. Now the papers that I used so far, so the paper that I did the swatch on was Strathmore Bristol vellum paper. The paper that I used for the test, the layer and blending test, and for this artwork was a Hahnemühle Harmony watercolor paper. Now that's kind of like a hot press watercolor paper, really nice smooth surface, almost it's quite similar to a Bristol vellum really, because it has that nice texture on it but not too rough. So I used that paper as well for the artwork, and I was really pleased. Like I say, layering ability, absolutely no problems whatsoever. I know a lot of people are going to ask, are they oil or wax based? You know, I don't really go down that route. I've explained that, but the core of the Arrtx pencil is really difficult to explain because it feels like a hard core when you put it on the paper and you're adding a few layers, but it lays down like a really soft core pencil. And also as well, the core holds its form for quite a considerable period of time, which you wouldn't really expect given how it lays the pigment down on the paper, because it lays down like a soft cored pencil. But like I say, the core holds its form really well for quite a considerable period of time. So it's a really difficult thing to explain, but all I can say is that the layering of this pencil is beautiful, as is the blending. The core just works beautifully. The colours are really bright and vibrant and saturated, as you could see with the swatch that I showed you, and also here with this artwork as well. So you can see here that the colours are really nice and saturated. So next up is this dark paper, black paper. Again, this test here doesn't show you whether the pencil's good or bad. A lot of artists just like using dark paper, and so this test just shows you whether the pencils are opaque or whether they're translucent. A lot of artists prefer translucent pencils and some artists prefer opaque pencils. It just swings and roundabouts, but this test just shows you what they are. Now, as you can see here from the colours that I've laid down here on this black paper, they're very, very translucent. Occasionally you'll get on this test here, maybe two of the pencils will be or two of the colours will be opaque and two will be translucent, but almost all of them. So you've got a red, yellow, blue, green, and then I've done the white here. The white as well is really quite translucent in comparison to a lot of whites, so not very opaque at all. And like I say, that doesn't necessarily say whether it's a good or a bad pencil. It just shows you as an artist what you're going to get if you want to use dark paper. So this image will be over on the Art Gear Guide as well on the written review, so you can click on it and see it for yourself. All the images, all the things that I'm showing you here, I will have images of over on the Art Gear Guide on the written review that you can click on and enlarge and inspect it properly yourself. Same with the artwork as well. I have a speed drawing of that, which at the end of this video you'll be able to click on one of the cards on the screen, which will show you the speed drawing, or you can go to one of the links in the description down below to the speed drawing, or to go and take a look at the still images. On these videos I never talk about the pricing because the prices change and it's easy for me to change those. So I always put the price over in the written review. So if you want to know about the prices, go across to the written review, because I can change that. I can't change what I say here in these videos, but what I can say is they are really, really well priced for a set of 72 colors. So considering that they're a budget range pencil, they're really good quality pencils for that range. Obviously there's no Lightfast information, certainly not at the ASTM or Blue Wool level. So don't be expecting highly Lightfast pencils. You're just not going to get that. Listen guys, I think I've been doing this now about 6 years. And one thing I've noticed, and I've been guilty of this myself, is, I don't know whether this is just exclusively colored pencil artists or whether it's just artists in general, but we all tend to want really inexpensive pencils, but we want those pencils to be highly light fast as well. That gives us the ability to do artwork and sell at really high prices. That's just not reality, guys. When these companies, especially when they go and they get their pencils or their product tested under ASTM or Blue Wool, these companies have got to pay a lot of money to get those pencils tested, to get that stamp of approval from those two standards. And so they've got to make that money back somehow. And how they make it back is by cost. But that's where you as the artist as well make your money back, because if you're creating artwork using highly light fast pencils or highly light fast whatever, you can sell your artwork and sell it with knowing that it's going to last 100+ years, and that's where you make your money back. For companies like Arrtx that are creating pencils like this, they are trying to create artist quality pencils. So what that means is pencils that are going to give you the ability to create beautiful artwork for yourself. Now, there's lots of different artists out there, adult color and book artists. I know some of them sell the work that they create, but not all of them do. And so adult color and book artists want a really good quality pencil that's going to allow them to sit down and create the artwork that they create. Artists like myself who just draw for myself, I do drawings because I enjoy them and I like them. I don't sell any of my artwork, not yet anyway. I don't think I'm at that level yet where I can sell my artwork, but so for the time being, I just want to create artwork because it makes me happy. And I know there's lots of people like that. And for a lot of people, especially in this day and age where nearly everybody is struggling financially, we just want to get a nice set of pencils that are going to allow us the ability to create beautiful artwork, and that's it. End of story. Obviously, at the higher level where you're going to be selling your work, you absolutely do need highly light fast pencils, and that is important. But I just think we need to understand the budget range pencils are not going to come with highly light fast pencils in that set as well. And I get this asked of me all the time. Why are they not highly light fast? Why? Things like that. That's all it is, guys. It's just purely and simply down to cost. But anyway, I think these Arrtx pencils are excellent quality. For the money that you're going to pay for them, you are going to really get a nice set of pencil. Now, they're not open stock either. Now, this comes down to another issue with colored pencils and budget range colored pencils, and that is obviously you can't buy the pencil. You run out of one color, or you might be the type of artist that uses a lot of greens, say, and you're running out of your greens more than you are any other color, and you can't go out and just replace it with those greens. I know it's a pain in the backside, and I know I don't know the answer around that, but you know, I know that if you're paying £25, say, for a set of 72 pencils, I know it's going to be a pain in the backside to shell out that type of money all the time just to get another set of greens. But like I say, I don't know whether it gets to a point with the company, if they're selling the pencils really well, if they get to that point where they go, right, now we can sell them open stock. I'm not too sure how it works, but these ones are not open stock just yet. I think I've covered everything, guys. If there's anything else that you want to know about the pencils, don't forget, check out the written review as well, because I put a lot of additional information on the written review. So if you want to know anything, go across there as well. If you've got any questions of anything that I've missed here, ask them down below and I will definitely get back to you. And if I don't know the answer, I'll contact my contact at Artex and they will be able to answer the question for me. But these are an excellent set of pencils. I was really surprised. I wasn't expecting this. Now, I've done reviews of their markers. They've come out with some fantastic markers over the years, and they've actually helped to revolutionize the marker market, because before companies like Artex and Art and Fly and Artify and a few others that the name escapes me right now, before they all came out on the market, Copic obviously reigned that market. But now, because of companies like Arteza and Arrtx and Art and Fly and all these other companies that have come out with really nice brush markers and things like that, it's really shaken that market up, and that's what was needed. So now they've come into the colored pencil market, Arrtx. Hopefully this 72 set will do well, and who knows, maybe later down the line we'll see a 120 set. You just never know. It just all depends on how well these pencils do, and hopefully they will do well. I mean, I think if you buy them, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with them, and I think you'll be quite happy with them, just so long as you're aware of the things like no Lightfast and they're not open stock and things like that. So long as you're okay with that, I think you'll be happy with them. Anyway, guys, that's my review for the Arrtx 72 set of colour pencils. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you all again in the next review. Thanks. Bye.